Speaking of surveys, I believe you've had the recent survey from the University of Ghana about, I mean, it was basically about government's popularity, but then they went in to talk about the NDC. So they sampled views about who should, I mean, some of the names that have come up, John Mahama, he hasn't said anything about whether or not he wants to stand, but there are speculations, of course. Joshua Alabi, whom I've spoken to personally, Spielgabra, whom I've spoken to personally recently, Ricky Hagen, Sylvester Mensah, quite a lot of people. They say that people on the ground, and they spoke to over 5,000, about 5,000 people in 50 constituencies. They say John Mahama is more popular or has a higher approval rate. He's got about 58% approval rate, and the rest is shared among you and the others.
It's good news. That's very good news, because some of us just came in maybe a month or so ago.
As in, you made your intentions clear?
Yes,
a month ago?
About a month ago. His Excellency has been there for a long time, and we are all aware that we started with all of us being under him, okay, and we all supported his government. We did a lot, and so he started from 100%. And so if that 100 has reduced to 58%, it's good news. As we go along.
So this is how you see it.
It's not me. You are referring to
100% has reduced to 58%. Exactly how do you mean with that?
We were all under him.
Okay.
All of us in NDC were under him. He was the first gentleman. So he had all of us supporting him 100%. And so if that support has now reduced to 58%, which meant that 58% of us are now supporting him, well, it's good news for us, we the aspirants.
Okay.
It means as we go along, that will still be ebbing away. And it's most likely that by the time we get to the national primaries, maybe by the end of this year, it will have reduced to something below.
Like?
Well, I can't project. It depends on so many variables. And so I don't want to speculate. There's no basis for me to speculate now.
But then what do you think will make it reduce rather than increase? Because as we speak, he hasn't really made his intentions clear. There's still speculation. So if at the speculation level he's hitting 58%, then if he starts to put, make it quite clear, then the likelihood that he will go higher is more of a potential than going lower, don't you think?
You think so?
I'm asking you.
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, because
what I know is that we are now going to go out there with our messages, okay? And we will give the good people of our party the option to choose as to which personality and which message that they prefer. And I believe that by the end of the day, I don't see His Excellency, the former president, John Dramani Mahama, winning. I don't see it.
Why don't you?
If it happens, well, as a family contest, we have to go together, and I can just say for sure that I'll give him 100% of my support. But I don't see him winning at the end of the day.
You see,
and whoever wins, I will support the person.
But
I see me as a likely winner.
You spoke about experience a lot, and then you go through your life and put together the number of years and how much experience you have to show that you're more competent, to show that you are ahead of the lot. But there's no such thing as a hands-on experience that John Mahama has. He's been president. You've never been president before.
Well, that is why we are contesting him. We gave him the opportunity, and we saw the end results.
What was the end results?
Well, we lost, in fact, a record over 1 million votes.
Was that his fault? Largely?
He came out as a good leader to admit that that was his fault. Because throughout his governance, he kept us reminding us that he was a captain, and that the buck stops with him. It's the same thing. The good things that we did are credited to him. And so you don't just take the assets, you also take the liabilities. And so he's mainly responsible for our loss. You lead, we follow. And so at the end of the day, when you mislead us, you cannot go and say that it's somebody who has rather misinformed you to mislead us. No, because you take the decision. That is what leadership is about.
Right. Don't you think that it's ultimately in the interest of the party and politically smart to let John Mahama run again, because you're going to campaign on his record anyway?
I don't understand what people mean by we're going to campaign on his record.
On the record of the past government, which was led by him.
Yes, but the record includes the loss. Is that what we're going to campaign on? Is that?
It includes
the
loss and it includes the gains.
Yes, but you look at both the loss and the gains. What is the balance sheet?
Tell me.
Is it positive?
You tell me.
It's negative. That's why we lost. And don't forget that the loss did not just come from the generality of Ghanaians. It came from within the party.
Okay.
It's only see, you look at our strongholds and look at Volta region, look at Upper West, look at Northern region, even look at Central region, look at Brong-Ahafo region. These are sometimes very supportive of NDC anytime we did something good. You understand? And so at the end of the day, it was rather NDC that rejected our own candidate. The turnout in Volta region, the lowest ever, about 67% out of the usual 80-something%. You know?
What was the main
How
reason?
could Central region,
what was the
from
main
around
reason?
17, 18 constituencies, be reduced to 4?
What was the main reason ascribed to that after your scientific research?
No. I will definitely not be telling you what our scientific research revealed, because that, as I said, is for the party. Okay? I can tell you about my own opinion. You know, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, in terms of a human being, when you look at him, he's a nice person. And by his training as a PRO, he speaks very well.
Okay.
You know, he has, as I usually say, a gift of the gab. He can talk very, very well. Throughout, and also because of his training, he's been able to gather a lot of knowledge. You can credit him with that. Okay?
But
then it's very admirable. Okay, but we're talking about leadership. And you know, the basic fundamentals of leadership involves character, competence, and care.
he lacks these?
The 3 C's. Definitely, I'm giving you the basis that if you talk about competence, he has a lot of it. I've told you that. You know, when you are going to lead a group of people, you must know them. I can say with all certainty that the way he performed, he seemed not to have known Ghanaians.
Okay.
I'm not too sure, even though he's a historian, he's gone through the political history of Ghana. And he has not been able to diagnose where we got to and where we want to go to as Ghanaians. The first president of the Republic, His Excellency Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, started very, very well by first trying to form a nation called Ghana. That agenda is incomplete.
Right.
Any president who wants to succeed must take it up. But it looks like we are not focused on that. And if you don't get that right, you will definitely be ruling small states with ethnic and tribal enclaves that will not work together, and we lose the synergies of that, because the one person cannot develop a country.
Was that what happened under
Definitely,
Muhammad?
definitely.
You were there. Where were you in all of these? Why didn't you advise?
Well, I'm sure if you were alive, you have heard my voice, critical voice, a number of times, which I did. And at the end of the day, I have not been found to have been misleading Ghanaians. I spoke nothing but the truth. And that is what I still continue to do.
These people that I've mentioned, it appears that you think your biggest competition is John Mahama?
Oh yes, so far yes, because he's been our president.
But he hasn't even indicated that he is going to run.
Oh well, it's about 99.5%.
Well, why do you say so?
He spoke a number of times. He spoke at Cape Coast, where he said that, well, if the party says he should run, why not? Okay. He spoke to us again at a dinner recently, hosted by him in his office, and it was clear that he's gearing up to run. Okay. Again, he's sponsoring a number of walks, branded as unity walks, and there again he speaks, and everything is clear. He's gearing up to run. So I will not be surprised if he comes out clearly at the end of the day to say he's running.
Branded as unity walk.
That is one of the basic weaknesses of the former president. You don't let people push you to lead them.
Okay.
You take the decision that this is what I want to do on the basis of my capacity, my experience, my knowledge, and whatever I believe I have diagnosed about the situation.
But if the people don't allow you, you can't go.
That you have to go to the people, and that is why we vote. Okay. That's why we vote. When the people say yes, then you go. But you don't continue to say that it is the people who are saying you should lead. At the end of the day, if you are confronted with a serious challenge, you tell us, I told you, you are the people who have put me here. That is not part of the characteristics of good leadership.
You say branded as unity walk. We've all been under the impression that this is a unity walk organized by the NDC. You say it's sponsored by John Mahama and it's branded as unity
I don't know.
It's not?
I don't know whether you ever saw the chairman of the party at those unity walks.
I've seen him.
Who is the chairman of the party? Which of the walks?
I can't quite recollect, but I think I've seen him.
I don't know how many times you saw the chairman, apart from the chairman, the general secretary.
Yes, the general secretary, for example, was in Tamale. I mean, yes. he had quite a look on his face, though, but he was there.
I'm not sure when you read the social media, his name was added as one of those who was there, and the commendation that was given to those who participated.
I saw him in the photos.
I'm surprised.
I did see him.
You saw my picture too, didn't you? Was I there?
You don't think the unity?
I don't believe.
You don't think this unity walks?
I don't believe that these walks are organized by the party. I'm very sure that as a member of the Functional Executive Committee, as a member of the Council of Elders, as a member of the National Executive Committee, I don't believe that these are works that are sanctioned by the party and organized by the party.
That's a major problem,
Don't forget that the main leader of the organization is Mr. Kojo Bonsu, and I don't know whichever position he holds in the party. I say it as it is, and I believe that that is not even the time. You see, timing of these activities are very essential to a reorganization of the party. I disagree with all those things, and I know people react to it, usually with emotions and sometimes indecent language, but I'm here to speak my mind.
So what I get you say is that Kojo Bonsu is sort of in John Mahama's camp. John Mahama is funding these unity walks. These unity walks are not an initiative or are not initiatives of the party, the NDC, as we've all been made to believe, that is part of the reorganization bid following the Kwesi Botchwey report.
No, it's not. It's not. And I say it with all sincerity. It's not.
Well, why haven't you spoken about it?
I've spoken about it. I've spoken about it. This has been published. This is not the first time.
I mean, in the party. Why haven't you dealt with it within the party?
Me?
No, I mean, the party. You and the party.
We see, any party that is in opposition has a lot of challenges. And so is NDC. And so you need to take up the process of reorganization, revitalizing and rebranding the party into serious consideration. The first step, as I told you, is to look within the rank and file of the party and see those who are still credible after the crushing defeat. And we zoned on the Council of Elders. And that is why the Council of Elders is leading the process. Okay? Then, at the end of the day, this research is done. A report is submitted. And the report is given on the need to know. That's the basis in which the report is disseminated. It's disseminated on the basis of the need to know. And that having been done, committees have been put in place. And those committees are working on the recommendations of the committee, which were analyzed and accepted. Not necessarily every recommendation was accepted. And that is what is going on. Now you need to go through the 5 stages of grief, which is what the party went through. And after you've done that, you need to start the restructuring of the party, which is where the party is committed to now. Okay? And that is why we're having re-registration of the members of the party. At the end of the day, you then do the branch elections, you do the constituency elections, you do the regional elections, you will also do the National Congress. Whilst doing this, you put in place a process of healing and reconciliation. People are hurt, and people believe that it's not them, but others that led to our serious defeat. And some people have personal differences. And so you have to give a period for a very serious cathartic relations to exist. After you've succeeded in doing that, you can now get to activities such as unity walks, where we are now prepared to see each other as in the same boat, where we now see each other as brothers and sisters.
You're not there yet, you think?
We're not there yet. And that is why at Cape Coast, when some of my colleagues who have indicated their intention of contesting the presidential primaries were hooted at Cape Coast, supposedly unity walks. And when they wanted to say a few words, they prevented them. And some were told straight in their face that this is an activity of John Mahama. If you want, also organize yours.
Really? Who said that?
It meant that, please, it meant that there's still a lot of work to do on the healing and reconciliation.
What do you foresee are the consequences of these unity walks?
Well, it's good that the unity walks are animating the grassroots of the party. That is good. You see, the problem we have is the timing. Okay? Which is not uniting, but seems to have been dividing and entrenching some little differences that could easily be ironed out if we had gone through the right process.
Okay.
And I'm not just saying this from a point of view of theory. I had the opportunity to go to assist the PDP twice to try to reorganize their party and to come back.
Okay.
And so in Nigeria. And so I know what change process means, how change process is handled. When you lose elections and you go into opposition, what you are expected to do.
Does it mean that you're not being heard within the NDC?
I'm being heard. I'm being heard. Maybe my voice is not being accepted by some power brokers.
Who are they?
Well, it could be His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's camp, who, because according to some of them, the early warning signs I gave in 2013 just turned them against me. And so instead of them seeing me as an asset, they rather see me as a liability. But that is expected because of the type of politics we are practicing in this country, the patronage type of politics we are practicing.
As part of the healing process, have you tried to reach out to these people that is supposedly the camp of John Mahama and try to...
Oh, I speak to everybody. Even when I listen to them on air, and I think that they've said something good, I meet them and I commend them.
Okay.
When they say something that I think, no, is misplaced, it shouldn't have been said, I don't shy away from telling them again that, no, what you said on air at this radio station is not proper. Don't do that again.
Have you engaged John Mahama personally?
Well, we've met at functions, but we've not had tete-a-tete, you know, on these issues, no.
What's the relationship between the two of you?
He's always been a very good brother of mine, and I got to know him in the senior high. You know, he was 1 year behind me. His senior brother, Alfred, is my classmate. Okay. We finished sixth form together. And so I actually see them as brothers. Their stepmother is always here in this office with me. Okay. Mrs. Mercy Mahama. And so I see them as part of my family.
So what stops you from reaching out to...
But I never shy away from telling you in your face what I think of you.
Have you done that about what's happening recently, about what you've just told us?
No, he's not been readily available. As you know, he's been up and down. Okay. He's done very, very well when it came to the issue of transition. Okay? This is one of the best transitions we've gone through as a country. Right. And it all goes to his leadership. And this has attracted the international community. And therefore, they've seen that a very good material democratically. Okay. And so they are using him a lot. It's not only lectures he's delivering, but anywhere there's an election, he's being called upon to lead, which is very good news for Ghana. And I really would have preferred that he remained at that global level, not to come back into the mud of the local Ghanaian politics.
Into the mud?
Complete. Because what is happening now is really dirty politics. And the
but you want to be in that dirty politics?
That is why I want to be there to clean it up.
Okay.
There are a few things we have to do to clean up politics. Yes. If we see each other as different sides of the same coin, and that we are brothers and sisters, and we are working for the benefit of all of us, I don't think we'll try to undermine, to cut down, to kill, or hurt each other.